Hey everybody, JC here with another T&I toy review. And for today's review, we're going to be taking a look at the upcoming DC Icons 6-inch scale DC Universe Rebirth Justice League 7-pack from DC Collectibles. Now this set is due out at Comic and Specialty Shops on March 22nd, so a little bit over a week away. A big thanks to the folks at DC Collectibles for sending this set out to me early so that I could review it. Now today specifically, I'm going to be taking a look at the Superman figure in this set, and then over the course of the next few days, we'll look at each of the figures in this box set. Now this set comes in a window box style of packaging. You've got the figures clearly displayed. You've got white and blue on the box, and then down below you've got the DC Icons logo. Off to the side you have the Justice League name. On the top of the box it says DC Universe Rebirth. On one side, you have images of the figure, and then on the back of the packaging, we have a look at other DC icons. Some have been released, like the Dark Side Deluxe set and the Burnside Batgirl, as well as the single-carded Firestorm Joker and John Stewart Green Lantern. And then we've got to look at other figures that have yet to be released, the Static, Swamp Thing, Deathstroke the Terminator, and another Wonder Woman figure. And then down at the very bottom, it tells us that Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, and Aquaman were all sculpted by Steve Kiewis. Green Lantern was sculpted by Joe Manna, and Cyborg was sculpted by Paul Harding. All right, let's get this open and take a look at the figures inside. Okay, so here's a look at the Superman figure outside the packaging. Now this figure does not come with any accessories at all. None of the figures in the set do. That's probably my only remote complaint about the set. It would have been nice if we'd gotten a couple extra accessories. But as it is, we just get the figures. Now for those of you who have been wondering if this new Superman figure is just a repaint of the previous Icons one, it is not. You can see that the new Superman figure is actually taller than the old Superman one. So for those of you who thought Icons were too short, it looks like DC Collectibles has maybe made some adjustments in that regard. And while there are some similarities between the sculpting, like with the rib cage and everything, it seems like this is mostly new parts. Even like the chest, this upper torso, which again has very similar sculpting detail, seems like it's a little bit wider than on this previous figure. I like this new head sculpt, and I like the detailing with the hair. You got the little piece of hair that comes down. I like that. The eyes look pretty good for the most part. This one eye, this left eye, maybe is a little bit cross-eyed, but overall I think they've done a pretty good job with that. Definitely doesn't have like that red eye like we saw on the first Superman figure. And you also notice that the head on this new figure is bigger than the head on the old figure. I like how the cape attaches to the costume, and pretty good skin tone overall. Now I do want to note that the Superman symbol here on his chest is actually sculpted. It raises up a little bit off of the figure, but you will notice that some of the red, a little bit of red, went off the actual rised up portion, and it's on the actual blue portion of the costume. Not too big of a deal, but just wanted to point that out. Then he's got the belt, that kind of new 52 Rebirth belt, and he's not wearing the red trunks anymore. And then with the back, you've got the cape, which is made with that vinyl material. And again, the cape is different, shaped differently from the one in the previous figure. You've got this kind of pointed end here in the middle. You do have the Superman symbol on the back of the cape. And then on the underneath of the figure, it's just that blue with the red belt and everything. He's got a little bit lighter metallic blue here on his wrists, so that kind of stands out. He's just got closed fists, no alternate hands or anything with this one. And then he's got the red striping on the bottom, but he doesn't actually wear the red boots anymore. Okay, so this figure stands just a little bit over 6 inches tall, not quite 6 1/4 inches. And once again, here's a comparison with the first DC Icons Superman figure. And again, you can see the new figure is much taller. Another difference I wanted to point out is you don't have that gap between the leg and the waist piece on this new figure like you did with the original one. So that's a nice improvement as well. Here's a comparison with the DC Icon Lex Luthor figure, and Superman is a little bit taller. Here's a comparison with an older Mattel 6-inch Superman figure and classic Darkseid. And the Superman figure, the Mattel one, is a little bit taller than the Icon, but they're much closer in height than the older Superman figure was. And finally, here's a comparison with a couple of Hasbro 6-inch Marvel Legends. So we've got the Capwolf Captain America figure and the Wolverine, the unmasked Wolverine figure, which was a recent figure put out by Hasbro. And I wouldn't say these are perfect scale, but again, this figure is much closer, this icon figure is much closer to being in scale with Marvel Legends than the previous Superman. So for articulation, you can turn the head to the left and to the right. He really doesn't have much back or forth movement with the head. You can pivot it to the left and the right a little bit as well. Arms attached with your standard ball hinge joint at the shoulder, so he can get his arm out good. He's got good rotation there at the shoulder. He's got a bicep swivel. He's got a double jointed elbow, so he can bend his elbow about that much. He's got the swivels at the wrist, hinges on the hands, so up and down movement with the hands. He's got a midsection joint, so he's got rotation there at the midsection. And he can, pivot to the left and the right and crunch down a little bit, but not too much. And he can look back about the same. This articulation here at the midsection is pretty much the same as it was with the previous Superman figure. And then he can crunch down. He's got an ab crunch joint, and he can crunch down about that much. And then he can look back about that much. He does not have a waist swivel. For the legs, you can do the splits about that much, and then you can pull the legs out from the socket a little bit, so you can get the leg forward good. And he can do the leg out and back. And then you've got that legs just attached with the ball joint. So you've got basically, you don't have an actual thigh swivel, but you do have good rotation up there with that ball joint. Then he has a double hinged knee, so good bending at the knee. And then hinges on the feet, so good up and down movement. And then he does have ankle pivot and 2 peg holes on the bottom of the feet. Okay, so that's my review. So overall, I like this figure. I think it's a definite improvement over the previous Icon Superman figure. I like the fact that it's bigger. You no longer have the gaps between the legs and the crotch piece, which is nice. And just in general, I think it's a nicer looking figure. Also, I like the fact that it's a more modern version of Superman that we're getting, though that's more of a personal preference than anything. Now, the set with this figure will be released on March 22nd. You can pre-order it now at Big Bad Toy Store. We'll have a full image gallery up at toynewseye.com. There'll be a link in the video description below. Also, if you like the backdrops that you're seeing in this video, be sure to check out extreme-sets.com. They make these and they're really cool if you're into toy photography and everything. It's something you probably want to check out. Again, it's extreme-sets.com, and I'll have a link to that in the video description as well. As always, leave a comment. Let us know what you think. If you're so inclined, please like the video. Also, if you haven't already, please follow me on my Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram accounts. I'll have links to those in the video description as well. And until next time, I'll catch you later.